Like most Legacy sequels, did we really need one for Happy Gilmore? Probably not. And what's obvious from this is that it has some of the most egregious examples of Legacy sequel issues. There are callbacks galore to the original, a lot of times in ways that feel shoehorned in, and this includes cameos by a lot of highly notable figures playing the children of a character from the original, usually due to the original actor having passed away. It also repeats classic setups from the original, including showing a flashback to the original scene before redoing it with different characters for this. Plus, with it being on Netflix, it does unfortunately have that overly polished straight-to-streaming look that can be a bit distracting. But look, I have to admit, despite its very obvious flaws, I actually enjoyed this one. I've always been hit and miss on Adam Sandler's comedies. I do appreciate that most of them are essentially just excuses for him and his buddies to goof around and riff via some truly absurd scenarios, a lot of which involve non sequitur, out of left field type of humor. And sometimes it works for me, and sometimes it doesn't. But it worked in the original Happy Gilmore, and it once again works here, even if not at the same level. If there's one thing that's out in the open here a little more than a typical Sandler comedy, is that there is this level of sincerity to it that carries nicely throughout the movie. Even if not all its callbacks work, it's clear there's a lot of affection for the original, and when combined with the natural charm Sandler has, with him having always been a great actor, especially seen whenever he works with auteur filmmakers, that helps make up for the obvious Legacy sequel issues that arise here. And even with his usual brand of humor fully on display, I gotta say, I did find this to be pretty funny. Some of it is random for the sake of just being random, or it's a forced callback that didn't work, like for example, any instance of a huge celebrity appearing as the child of a deceased character from the original really did not work. But there were some fun physical gags that worked well, like having all of Happy's sons be as over-the-top angry as he is. There's a quirky neighbor played by Steve Buscemi who will just randomly pop up trying to get in on the family fun that made me laugh. Bad Bunny as Happy's caddy was also great. He played into the social awkwardness of him pretty effectively. It was also nice seeing Christopher McDonald return as Shooter McGavin and Ben Stiller as Hal the Orderly, now an AA counselor. Stiller's role actually increases from the first, and it allows him to get really silly with the role, which I liked. McDonald felt a little more shoehorned in, like at times he felt like he was just there, but when he's initially reintroduced to the story, there were some moments where he gets to let loose that I liked. And overall, I thought this made for a good time. I can see why people might not like it. Again, it has some of the most obvious Legacy sequel issues, but maybe I was just in the right mood for something as silly as this, as I thought the humor worked well enough, and there was still a charm that broke through, and together, it made this a fun watch.